Hey everyone, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. So we're talking about the markets, and as it turns out, we had a surprise on inflation. Surprise in terms of it wasn't as bad as we expected. I want to show you guys some numbers, and we'll take a look at some things together. So first, let's start with this. This is the S&P. You guys can see this here. So as of recording this, we're right at 4,200 basically. That is essentially the key level. If it can, the market can hold, the S&P can hold the 4,200 level. Maybe this isn't just a bear rally, and maybe we're gonna sort of sustain some levels and get some stability in the market. My particular feeling that it is a bear rally, that we still could see some lower lows. That's just my opinion on that. No one can predict the future 100%, and I think this sort of is emblematic of the market that we're in right now. Now, in terms of inflation, when you actually take a look at the numbers in terms of a chart, take a look at it, guys, for yourself. So, you know, we came in like at 8.52. We thought inflation was gonna be like 8.7. That was the estimate. And one of the things that, if you just look, I mean, yes, you could make the case that we peaked in June. You can make that case, but if you look at the chart, we're still very high. I mean, you guys can see this for yourselves. It's just been climbing, 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 and this idea that, oh wow, it's so great that inflation's only, you know, 8%, not 9, it is still not great news. But yes, if you want to make the case that we've topped out inflation, a person could make that case. I think though, when I take a look at some of the categories of inflation, it's fascinating how like each thing that goes on in the world affects something else. And this particular time period is different than something we've been in the past. So I'll give you a simple example. I remember I was in California. I want to say it was like in the mid 2000 teens, and there was this thing called the Nino. I think that's what it's called. If guys correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the price of vegetables and everything was going up, and there was water shortage, etc. And everyone always make the joke, you know, just blame El Nino. You know, it's like, why are peanuts too much? Blame El Nino. Why is lettuce too much? Blame El Nino, right? It was just a joke. Everyone would make the joke that El Nino was the cause of everything. And one of the things that today, though, is that there's so many different causes of things. It's like, why is this thing so expensive? Oh, well, we got this bird virus, and birds are dying off, and therefore, you know, there's not that many eggs, and there's not that many eggs, and therefore ice cream is going up. And also, too, you know, we have a problem with, say, power and air conditioning is too expensive, and cows don't make milk during, you know, when it's hot, and when it's too hot, right, because the temperatures are rising and cows don't make milk, then suddenly pizza is really expensive. It's like this kind of just random stuff. Or you know, we say have a conflict with China and Taiwan, and then we're worried about semiconductors, or something in Ukraine, and we're worried about food supply. So this market's tougher than, say, quote, the El Nino market, you know, back in the, say, like I said, mid-teens, because there's multiple different factors going on at the same time, and each one is a sort of strong catalyst for moving prices. So I just thought, I was thinking about why it's so tough to read. And the other thing too, we're going to think about as well when you're talking about inflation or projecting prices, just think about this: the average American family, and you guys are out there watching, and maybe you're above average, maybe below average, but you know, just you're an American family, say, or you know, live in another country. But the point is that you have to project or predict how much you're going to spend on, say, something like food every month, or how much you're going to spend on energy or rent, etc. And you know, for example, for all of us who have a budget, you know what your mortgage is going to be, you know what your rent's going to be. So that's pretty stable, at least from year to year, right? Depending on, you know, your situation and contract that you make. But something like food, let's say you budgeted, you know, $500 a month or $1,000 a month, and then suddenly, you know, eggs go up in cost, or meat goes up in cost, and then, you know, you got to budget in like another 10-20%, and it makes it difficult to calculate, especially for Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck. And we've looked at numbers on this before, where it's like over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So this is where things become really, really uncertain from month to month. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because even things like housing, which is a large part of sort of our daily lives, the cost of housing is really, really tricky as well. Because oftentimes people tune in and try to figure out, you know, should we be buying a house? Should we not buying the house? And one of the things that I was looking at here, I do believe the market's due for a crash, right? So food prices kind of go up and down, energy prices go up and down. Housing prices have been skyrocketing like crazy, but as of late, it seems that the inventory for houses is going up. And now this chart is really interesting. It shows how many months it would take if people were just, you know, buying houses at the current rate to essentially buy up all of the supply. So the demand is going down, hence the supply is going up. And we're sitting around 9 months it would take to essentially buy all the houses on the market. So I do expect housing prices to go down. And then going back into, say, the budgeting situation, so reason why I mentioned this all together is because it's really uncertain. Because let's say you're a family out there, right? And you're like, okay, I got a budget for food, and that's kind of difficult to, you know, figure out. And then say, you know, you're renting for a year and you're planning to buy, and you're like, okay, my lease ends in, you know, 3 months. I want to buy a house, but like, what's the housing market doing? You know, should I wait? Should I buy now? And this is sort of the situation that many people are in. So you're not alone, right? And it's a really difficult situation because, say, buying a home is a major life, you know, decision. And theoretically, each month you wait, the prices could go down 1 or 2%, right? I'm saying theoretically, but then we get a reading today like inflation, and inflation is not as bad as predicted, right? And now the stock market's booming, and they're like, oh crap, okay, so what do we do now? So that's why I mentioned going back to the S&P 4,200 level. I just feel like we're at a turning point. If the S&P holds 4,200, then we're showing some stability. But if we hit that 4,200, which we are today, like right now, literally, I just turned to, actually, I'll flip over here. It just turned to 4202. But I do think this is a key level, because other times in the market when it sort of, this has back been the March lows, right? If it can sort of sustain those March levels, and this is from a few months ago, we're in the clear. But I just don't see it, guys. That's just me. I'd love to hear other people's opinion on that. Regarding some uncertainty regarding the China-Taiwan situation, looks like China has backed off a little bit from Taiwan, so they're not necessarily doing live fire drills anymore. They've called off military drills, but they do say they are going to still be patrolling the area. So you can read that any way that you like. Regarding the Trump situation, we talked about this one yesterday. It seems that there's a couple things that I learned about this one. So one is, one of the possible charges with Trump is kind of interesting, is the value of his real estate assets. So when it comes to, say, like paying taxes, the accusations, and I'm just keeping real, these are accusations or allegations, right? So not necessarily proven, but is that Trump essentially said that his properties and things are worth less when it comes to paying taxes. And then when it comes to like borrowing money or doing business stuff, then he said, oh, all my real estate is worth more. So it makes it sort of tricky to figure out what he's worth, and what sort of the legal, you know, if he broke the law or not. So what are the legal questions surrounding this? Evidently, though, he's taking the fifth, so he's just not saying anything. And the idea is that he doesn't want to incriminate himself. So we'll see. I was thinking that this would more of a, what's the right word to say, handling of secret information, top secret stuff. I was thinking that the charges are based on that, but and this may end up being more of like a tax evasion kind of thing. So we'll see how this plays out. And again, I don't like Democrats and Republicans. I do believe in rule of law, though, so I'm not making any judgment on if he's guilty or not, one way or the other. I don't particularly like the person, but it doesn't necessarily make him guilty right away, right? The last thing, too, which we'll talk about, is what's going on with Elon Musk and Twitter. So basically, it's going to go to court, and Elon is sort of betting or hedging his bet that he might lose the case. And if he does lose the case, he's basically forced to buy Twitter. So if you're going to sell Tesla stock to raise cash, you might as well do it now when prices are high, opposed to there's some sort of, you know, ruling that he must buy Twitter at what, 54.20 or whatever, you know, number that they're going to say. And then he's forced to sell and starts dumping crap, you know, a major amount of shares. He ended up selling, this is like 7 billion worth of Tesla stocks. So I'll be curious how Tesla bulls read this, where they're like, oh no, Elon's selling that, and therefore we should be buying because we want to help out our friend Elon. I don't know if people think this way. You know, me personally, this is something I just want to emphasize to you guys. When you do make investment decisions or anything in your life regarding money, try your best to stay rational, look at numbers, and don't get too emotional on these kind of things. When you get emotional with this kind of stuff, it leads to bad decisions. So how does that matter? So like, let's say you just love Elon Musk and you just love Tesla, and it doesn't matter anything of what numbers say, you're just buying it at any price. So that's not so great financial wisdom. Or the same way, for example, and this happened to me when I was a kid, when I bought my first car. I go on the car lot. It was this, you know, really great convertible, and I was like, oh my God, I just got to have a convertible, got to have a convertible. And being a stupid kid, I couldn't wait, say a week to like shop around, like say housing prices or something like that, where if you just have a little bit of patience, have a little bit of self-control, and know what something is worth, you can ultimately get a better price. So for me, when I see a CEO of a company dumping a bunch of shares, 7 billion worth of shares, it would give me pause to be like buying more, because I just feel like it would come down if he's indeed going to dump more shares on the market. Other than that, that's what's going on in the market. Again, we're watching key levels of the S&P 500. We're also watching just crazy amounts of instability and different catalysts that move the market. And I said, as I you know mentioned, is that I'm right there with you guys in terms of like, you know, the market is tough to read. You know, when in doubt, don't be throwing all your money in the market necessarily, right? Just have some different things. Have some bonds, have some cash, have some stocks. I still believe in blue chippers. I've been preaching all along. I just think we're in the kind of market to where, you know, when people are uncertain, they're more likely to buy Apple than they are to buy something like a Palantir, which is not profitable and basically like a meme stock. Yes, the meme stocks have been rallying. We do talk about meme stocks every now and then with AMZ or GameStop or Bed Bath & Beyond or these kind of things, but I just don't think this will last forever. So oftentimes people write in the comments say, Chris, you're so dumb. You know, look at something like AMC. It went to $70 before. It can do it again. And you know what I say? I say, you crazy. The reason is because back then the government was printing money and giving out money to a bunch of kids and teenagers to buy your cryptos and AMCs and you know, a bunch of Teslas and stuff like that. But you know, that free money is gone. Yes, the markets are tough to read, right? But some things that aren't tough to read is that we can tell that the free money is gone. And also too, the uncertainty is risen and people are very skeptical of these rallies, myself included. So you know, we all are like, okay, I guess the markets are rallying, and I guess some people are you know, putting some risk on the table, but I don't hear anyone saying, oh, everything's safe, it's the all clear, and things are going to rally beyond you know, beyond today because things are just so great and companies are going to make a ton of money. I'm not seeing it. So we'll see where we go from here, but as of now, I feel like it's a bear market rally. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions, all the stuff that we talked about today. And the kind of question I have for you guys is, if you were out on the housing market now, would you be buying a house today? Or would you be waiting for prices to lower? And I think this is a key question that people have to face in this market. So love to hear your comments on that one. And always appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.